Let not your heart be troubled. John 14, verse 1. When life's challenges press hard and answers seem delayed, remember Jesus' reassuring words. Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. These words from John 14, verse 1 are a timeless call to trust. They remind us that even when life feels uncertain, God's plan for us remains sure and steadfast. Think of a farmer sowing seeds. He doesn't expect an immediate harvest. He waits. He waters. He trusts the process. Similarly, God's timing is perfect, even when it feels like we're in a season of silence or struggle. Romans 8, verse 30 tells us, "And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified." This verse is a profound reminder that our lives follow a divine blueprint. Every step, every delay, every triumph, and every trial is part of God's plan to shape us into his glory. Look at Joseph in the Old Testament. Sold into slavery, wrongfully imprisoned, and forgotten by those he helped, Joseph's life seemed to spiral out of control. Yet, at the right moment, God elevated him to the second highest position in Egypt. Joseph's story teaches us that delays are not denials. They're often detours to something greater. Why does God test our faith? Have you ever wondered why God allows difficulties? It's not because he's absent or indifferent. No, he's refining us. Think of a goldsmith purifying gold. The fire is intense, but it burns away impurities, leaving behind something precious. Consider Abraham, who waited 25 years for the promised son, Isaac. During that time, God tested his faith, teaching him patience and trust. 1 Thessalonians 4 reminds us to live in a way that pleases God. Trusting God's process is an act of obedience that pleases him. Imagine standing at a train station, waiting for a delayed train. Frustrating, isn't it? Yet, no matter how long the wait, the train's arrival is inevitable. In the same way, God's promises may seem delayed, but they will surely come to pass. Habakkuk 2 verse 3 assures us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." Waiting tests our faith like nothing else. It's in the waiting room of life that we learn to lean on God's promises. The story of Job. Job lost everything: wealth, family, health. His friends doubted him. His wife urged him to give up, yet Job's faith never wavered. In the end, God restored Job's fortunes, proving that perseverance in faith leads to reward. Your story matters too. Reflect on your own life. Have you been waiting for a breakthrough? A healing? A restored relationship? Know that God sees you. He hears your prayers, and his timing is always perfect. Sometimes, the hardest part of faith is holding on when everything in you wants to give up. But remember Jesus' promise in John 14 verse 1. Believe in God. Believe also in me. The benefits of waiting on God. Strengthened faith. Isaiah 40 verse 31 says, "Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles." Waiting builds spiritual muscles. Refined character. Romans 5 verses 3-4 reminds us that suffering produces perseverance, which leads to character, and character produces hope. God's best. Ephesians 3 verse 20 says God is able to do immeasurably more than we ask or imagine. Sometimes we settle for good when God wants to give us his best. What are you waiting for today? A new job? A child? Healing? Whatever it is, know that you're not alone. The Bible is filled with stories of people who waited and saw God's faithfulness in the end. Faith is not passive. It's active. It's believing even when you can't see. It's trusting when the evidence says otherwise. The woman with the issue of blood, she waited 12 years for healing. But her faith moved her to action, and Jesus rewarded her persistence. Peter walking on water. When Jesus called Peter out of the boat, it was Peter's faith that enabled him to walk on water. Even when he faltered, Jesus was there to catch him. What can we do while we wait? Pray without ceasing. Philippians 4 verse 6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Serve others. Waiting doesn't mean doing nothing. Use your time to bless others. Proverbs 11 verse 25 reminds us, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Speak life. Proverbs 18 verse 21 teaches that the tongue has the power of life and death. Speak words of faith, hope, and encourage. Beloved, God sees your tears. He hears your prayers. and He's working behind the scenes to bring His promises to fruition. Just as a tapestry is woven with threads of every color, God is weaving your life into something beautiful. Trust Him. Believe in Him. Wait on Him. In the words of Isaiah 64 verse 4, "Since ancient times no one has heard, no ear has perceived, no eye has seen any God besides you, who acts on behalf of those who wait for Him. So, let your heart be at peace. God's timing is perfect, and your faith, even in the waiting, is the key to unlocking His best for you." Let's dive deeper into how we can live this out. To wait on God effectively, we must embrace 3 principles: patience, purpose, and praise. Patience is not merely the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. Hebrews 6 verse 15 highlights Abraham's example. And so, after waiting patiently, Abraham received what was promised. Waiting patiently doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending everything is fine. It means bringing our worries to God. David, a man after God's own heart, poured out his frustrations in the Psalms. Yet, he always returned to trust in God's faithfulness. Principle 2, purpose, understanding the process. Romans 8 verse 28 assures us that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. When you understand that every season of waiting has a purpose, it changes your perspective. Consider Esther, an orphan Jewish girl who became queen. She waited years before God revealed her purpose: to save her people. Esther's story reminds us that God's purpose for your life is worth the wait. Principle 3, praise, worship while you wait. In Acts 16, Paul and Silas were imprisoned. Instead of despairing, they prayed and sang hymns. Their worship unlocked a miracle. Similarly, our praise can shift our focus from problems to the provider. Psalm 34 verse 1 encourages us: "I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth." Make worship your weapon in seasons of waiting. To anyone feeling forgotten or overlooked, hear this: God is closer than you think. He is not slow in keeping His promise, 2 Peter 3 verse 9. His timing is perfect. He sees you, loves you, and has great plans for you, Jeremiah 29 verse 11. As we conclude, let's commit to trusting God fully. Let's be like the saints of old who, through faith and patience, inherited the promises. Remember, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, Hebrews 11 verse 1. So, beloved, wait with hope, trust with confidence, and praise with expectation. For in God's perfect time, your breakthrough will come.